What's going on, y'all? I just want to say before we get into today's episode, I just want to say this. What you're about to hear is real, it's raw, it's personal. This isn't just another podcast episode, it's a story about survival, about recovery, about the fight to believe that your life matters, even when your mind is telling you otherwise. If at any point during this episode you feel triggered or have heavy thoughts, please know that you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available 24/7, and reaching out for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Let me say that again. Reaching out for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Welcome to episode 3 of You Matter. Thanks for tuning in to For the Mind.
Sometimes it only takes one small interruption to save a life. For me, it wasn't a person, it was my dogs Nitro and Stout. And if they hadn't been there that day, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. That's how real this is. Welcome to For the Mind, episode 3, You Matter. September is officially recognized as both Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, Recovery Month for alcohol and drug addiction, as well as mental health recovery. Let's not forget that one, mental health recovery. So, let's just get real about what that means. These aren't just hashtags or calendar labels. Suicide Prevention Month is about breaking the silence, fighting stigma, and making sure people know that reaching out for help is not weakness, it's strength. It's about reminding each other that no one has to fight their darkest thoughts alone. A quote by Dr. Jane Smith, LPC, says, "Talking about suicide and recovery doesn't put ideas into someone's head. It saves lives." The more we normalize these conversations, the more likely people are to reach out before it's too late. Nearly 80% of people who die by suicide have a diagnosable mental health condition, says the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Early intervention can make a real difference. Again, early intervention can make a real difference. And National Recovery Month, that's about celebrating the courage it takes to step into healing, whether from alcohol, drugs, or mental health struggles. Recovery is not linear, it's not perfect, and it's definitely not one size fits all. But it is possible, and it is worth it. You may ask, why does this matter? Because awareness without action doesn't change lives. Awareness needs to turn into conversations, into support, into someone saying, I see you, I've got you, and you don't need to do this alone. And I don't just want to talk about this in theory, I want to make it real, because these themes of suicide prevention and recovery aren't just headlines or awareness campaigns, they've touched my life too. My story is part of this conversation, and I share it because I know how much it helps when someone goes first. When someone says, hey, me too, you're not alone in this. So let me take a moment to tell you where I've been, what I've learned, and why this month matters so deeply to me. April 11th, 2024, the day I wanted to end my life. That was the day I had my professional identity, financial stability, confidence, and hope stripped from me for my university. That was the day I felt like I was up against a 10-foot tall wall with no rope to climb. It reminded me of all the times in high school where I was known as Lexi's little brother, not Kyle Malaz Druids. It reminded me of the times I embarrassed my parents on the golf course because I lost my temper. It reminded me of the mindset I had created. No matter how hard I try, I'll never succeed. I'm a failure, an accident child, the disappointment child, the fuck up, the nobody. I wanted to go numb. I wanted to not feel anything anymore. I didn't have anyone at home, so I felt like it was my opportunity to end all of my pain. That was the day I held a kitchen knife to my throat and told God to watch over my wife and family and forgive me for all the wrongs I'd done. If it weren't for my dog Nitro persistently nudging me and then getting his brother Stout to jump on me, I wouldn't be here to tell this story. The scary part about this story is that on the outside in public, I was smiling, laughing, and drinking alcohol to numb myself from feeling these overpowering emotions. At home, I first entered a deep depression state going. The scary part about this story is that on the outside, in public, I was smiling, laughing, and drinking alcohol to numb myself from feeling these overpowering emotions. At home, I first entered a deep depression state going to the darkest room in my house, my guest closet, and bawling my eyes out, isolating myself, and my wife not knowing what to do or how to help me. After a while, I transitioned into anger state, which led to lots of unhealthy drinking and destructive thoughts. I did everything I could to put on a smile, so no one could see how broken I truly was. Because while growing up, it was shown and told to me that men should never show their emotions because that is a sign of weakness, and you need to be strong. I believed it. Until recently. David Johnson at LCSW speaks of how societal expectations around masculinity often prevent men from seeking help. Acknowledging your feelings and asking for support is one of the bravest things you can do. Now, that is the bravest thing you can do. So, I now tell myself, have grace for yourself. Do your best right now. And learn to love yourself. For the men listening to this, I want you to know the bravest, strongest thing that you can do is ask for help. You don't have to take on life alone. Asking for help is a strength, not a weakness. Going back to that dark time period, I wanted to go numb because I was exhausted from handling my emotions and problems by myself. I kept drinking more and more. More nights of blackouts, more nights of crying, more days of drinking and pretending I was fine. I was drinking all by myself, getting drunk all by myself. Only a select few people noticed my destructive habits, and that wasn't enough. I needed to be seen, heard, and understood, but I couldn't put it into words. That led to more frustration and more drinking. That led me to drink even more because I was afraid people were right, that they saw the real me. Dr. Maria Lopez says, peer pressure and social media play a huge role in normalizing substance use. Recovery starts when we realize that fun and connection don't require alcohol and drugs. Research shows that nearly 60% of college students binge drink at least once per month. Understanding social pressure is key to making healthier choices. Society has made youth believe drinking is part of life, especially in college and adulthood. College is the scene where everyone drinks. Social media, celebrities, and even the American dream push the idea that drinking is required to have fun, be accepted, or experience life. Newsflash! You don't need alcohol to be cool, accepted, or to have fun. I wish I had known that sooner, but I can't change the past. I can only focus on the present moment. A year ago, if somebody told me I'd be 6 months sober today, I'd probably laugh and say, yeah, okay, we're drinking tonight. But here I am, 9/8/25, marks 6 months sober from alcohol and marijuana. Every day is a fight against my mind to remain strong and not to cave into the temptation, not be the old Kyle. For anyone struggling, keep fighting, keep going, keep staying alive. Suicide is not the answer. It only takes away a person. It creates a burden on those around them. What people can do is simply checking in can literally be life-saving. Many people who struggle silently just need someone to see them, hear them, and remind them that they are not alone. So, I want you to send that text to a friend you haven't spoken to in days, months, or years. Hey, I'm just checking in to see how you're feeling. I'm here for you. You matter. That 10 seconds could save a life, and no one is too busy for 10 seconds. This episode isn't meant to make people feel guilty about their decisions or actions. It's meant to help people understand the importance of mental health, to spread awareness about addiction, sobriety, and most importantly, self-care. So I challenge you this September to not just acknowledge these observances, harness them. Ask someone in your life how they are really doing. Share resources like 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Celebrate recovery stories in your community. Remind yourself and others that hope is real. Recovery is real. So, here's the challenge for September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. To not just acknowledge these observances, harness them, to ask someone how they're really doing, to share resources like the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Celebrate recovery stories in your community. Remind yourself and others that hope is real. Recovery is real. And the connection is the bridge between the two. Studies show that peer support and social connectiveness significantly improve long-term recovery outcomes reported by SAMHSA. So, I'm your host, Kyle G. Malaz-Druids. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of For the Mind, You Matter. Make sure to like, repost, and share this episode with your friends and family. Remember, you matter, and asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. So, have a good night.